Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. We start on the daily time frame and we can see that Bitcoin is basically in an unchanged scenario. So the wave count here on the overall daily time frame hasn't changed in many months, and I think it's very consistent so far. We're still dealing with two possible scenarios. Both are bullish, that's very important. Only below 19,870. From the current price levels, this level has to change should the price make another high. But from what we can see right now, if the price makes another low below that level, 19,870, that is when I would assume that new bear market lows are coming, and that would mean probably from there another 50% drop to below 10K. This is nothing I'm primarily watching for, not as long as we're holding above support levels. There's still plenty of bullish support levels left. At the same time, it is clear that the market has started a correction, and we're obviously watching now for the pattern that's unfolding and to understand if it gives us some clues where things might be heading. Okay, so at the moment, lower prices are still expected. Yes, a short-term bounce is now expected, maybe a dead cat bounce. So that could be a so-called corrective B wave, a relief rally, which eventually will sell off further. So we're going to take a look at all of that in this video. But on the daily chart, there are two scenarios. There's one case, which is a deeper pullback. Not currently the primary scenario, even though it's personally something I would really like to see, because such a deep or low B wave will give me and others the possibility to accumulate Bitcoin for lower prices, far lower prices in a bullish market. In this scenario, the market from the November 22 lows formed an A, B, C structure to the upside. The proportions match that scenario, because then we would have three waves up in an A wave, B wave down, and a C wave, and you get very good proportions between the two. So between the A and the C wave, and they often have a certain Fibonacci, ratio relationship. And from here then, we would be looking at a B wave down and still all-time highs. So that's a scenario in which the wave 5 there is part of an ending diagonal from the 2018 lows. That's one scenario. And the other scenario is, and that's the one that, I also have no problem with, but it's the one that's going to be tested first. And because it's the one that's going to be tested first, and it's also probable, this is my primary scenario in which we have a combined, or let's call it a nested 1-2-1-2 setup. Third wave just finished, fourth wave now unfolding, with key support at 37,900 and then 35,000. As long as these levels are holding, the market should continue to move up in wave 5 of 3, then a wave 4, 5, and so on, and we should get to all-time highs that way without any deeper pullbacks. Now, okay, you can laugh about it and say, okay, deeper pullback. In the stock market, they call that a crash when the market goes down 20%. Well, here it's simply a shallow correction. We've seen now from the high that the Bitcoin price declined like 16-17%. Technically, within this scenario, a 28% decline is possible. So from now, that's different. From the current prices, we talk about another 15% before this scenario starts to break. Below 35,000, I have to favor the yellow count, which would simply be a deeper pullback in an overall bullish scenario. Of course, a break below 35K will increase probabilities for new bear market lows, because then basically one of the bullish cases is invalidated. However, there will still be plenty of support levels left. Okay, so but that's just something. We haven't even broken 35K, and at the moment a bounce is expected from the current region. Now we go to the 1 hour chart, and here you can see the scenario. We have seen the price move down in 5 waves. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5 in an A wave of a larger wave 4 correction. That was pretty much precisely expected like that. So we've got 5 waves down, and even if we zoom into the detail, we can see 5 waves down within this 5th wave. So that's all adding up, and it all works out. Now we are watching for a potentially so-called dead cat bounce, basically just a fake out rally in this B wave. Yeah, so basically a relief rally after 5 waves down, we would at least expect a B wave corrective rally. Now, the main challenge is to determine if the A wave is already complete. I would currently assume that. I mean, now since yesterday's low, it makes sense to assume that. Doesn't mean it has to happen. It's only pointing out what the market would ideally do. That's not the same as, predicting it, because we need to see further evidence, but we've seen a first indication. And that's why I assume the A wave is finished. What indication was that? Well, the price broke above the first initial resistance I communicated yesterday. And if the price now stays above a certain level, then this B wave could continue. Okay, so to keep that a valid and reasonable interpretation that the B wave has started, I need to see the price hold above a certain level. That's the 78.6 retrace level of the lows. We talk about around about $40,700. If we get a sustained break below that level, new lows will likely be coming. And the B wave is likely going to be just an ABC structure. We don't have enough waves to really lay out the roadmap with high confidence, but for now I assume the B wave has started, and it should be a standard ABC structure really. And obviously I would assume we're still in the A wave. Now, to really predict where a B wave is going to go is difficult because B waves don't really have targets. They can even overshoot, okay? But you see on the chart that there are some Fibonacci levels that are relevant. There are some levels that are relevant, for example, 44,470, 45,500, for example. They are going to be relevant, and it's just worth mentioning that B waves can easily overshoot. So they can easily overshoot, go beyond the initial resistance area, but a healthy B wave should take us sort of at least into the middle of the resistance area there over the coming 1 or 2 weeks, I would say. So we'll see how long that takes us. Bear in mind, it's a corrective rally. Now, not saying they couldn't happen earlier, but that's sort of what you would reasonably expect. And then a C wave down should still take us lower. Now, B waves can overshoot, so be prepared for that, but it's nothing you can really predict. But B waves are just some of the most difficult waves. Okay, I think the A wave down, that worked out nicely. It was a pretty clear pattern. Now the B wave is going to be a bit more challenging, but we still give our best to forecast the price action. Yeah, that's my update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.